Hi there, this is Jennifer. I'm glad you're here. So lately I have been doing live videos in addition to my pre-recorded traditional videos that I've been doing for years. Now I know a lot of people love the lives, but they do have a much longer format. So I thought I'd offer something in addition to the lives, and that is an edited, shortened version of it. So this is a trial. I want to see how it goes. I have shortened one of my recent lives down quite a bit just to show the key parts of making unique shaker cards. However, I really do encourage you to go watch the full version. I'll link it up here and in the description below, because I get to answer a lot of questions in that, address other ideas, techniques, and so on. But I really wanted to consider those who are tight on time. And please remember, these live videos and these edited shortened replays will not replace my regular traditional edited videos. I will continue to do those. Please keep in mind, this won't be a wonderfully edited video because I'm just taking pieces out of the live and kind of patching them together. I would love to get some feedback from you, kindly, please, if you can, in the comments below on if this is worth it to offer to you in the future for the lives that I do. Please also note that in the description below, I have information on ways that you can save on the products that I share in this video, so be sure to also check that out. All right, let's get started with this shortened edited replay. In fact, I have two different sets here. So I have the duotone butterfly stencil. So they are stencils that, like, one stencil does half a butterfly, the other stencil does the other half. And it lines up nicely with this die that cuts part of the shape so you can kind of pop them up. I've used this before in a video. There are a bunch of different kind of these duotone pop-up combos. There's leaves, there's Christmas trees. I just have two here today. And I think all of them, most of them, if not all of them, are included in the sale. I just saw Nina said, use the code for 20% off instead of 20. There you go. 25. Or 25% off instead of 20. So let's break out. Again, these are the pop-up butterfly panel die and the duotone butterfly stencils. Now I have, in here in my MISTI, I have my grip mat from Waffle Flower. This is made of stamp material, and it helps to kind of hold paper and stencils and things in place in my MISTI. So I use that instead of that mouse pad that I used to use inside of my MISTI. So I have one that lives here. So it's stuck in here, and I actually don't take it out. It's always there. You can see it's well loved. I don't really clean it. I just kind of wipe it down with a wet cloth. If you get stubborn stains, you can use a stamp cleaner. However, this guy lives inside of my stamping tool. I have another one here that's the same size that I put the grid on the back of. So the back of this isn't as sticky. See how it's slick? Because I put that grid on the back. I did cut the corners off the grid. Can you see that? I cut the corners off the grid. So just around the edge and the corners has stick to it. So it has enough stick to my desk while I'm inking, but not so much grip, the whole back isn't grippy, so that I can easily move it off when I'm done. Otherwise, you got to really peel it off. So I have two of them. Now these are available in different sizes, and I know this size is on sale in that sale category, and the size for the mini MISTI. She's got a bunch of different sizes. So I have one of my grip mats in the MISTI. Again, I always have it here. It's just so handy. Sometimes I'll still use the magnet with it, but a lot of times I won't. All right, so I'm going to cut this. You can use whatever die cut machine you have. I'm just going to use my Empress today because I trying to take care of my shoulder. And I'm putting that die in the center of a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch panel, and I'll run it through my die cut machine. All right. So this is, you can see here, you've got these little butterflies and you can pop the wings up. Now I'm going to use this one where I cut the pop up. But let me also show you what you can do with this die if you want a different look. One of my favorite things to do, and you see me do it often, is to make an impression with a die. And this one's a fun one to do that with. So you could also, I'm not going to use this on my card, I'm just demonstrating. You can also put your cardstock onto a flexible mat an embossing mat. Most die cut machines come with a flexible mat. Some sell it separately, but all machines should have one. And this allows you to make an impression or emboss with the die. So you've got the flexible mat, you got your cardstock, and I'm going to put the die face down onto it. And I'm using the sandwich that the manufacturer recommends. And I'm going to run that through. So with this, what I just did with the embossing mat, look at, you can get an impression that way. So that didn't cut through, it just made an impression. And you can use the stencil on that and you would get this look. So see how I stenciled inside of that impression. That's just, I just wanted to show you that you could do this. All right, so now let's go back to this one. So this is the one where I've cut the die so that those wings pop up. They'll pop up in a moment. We're not popping them up just yet. And now we'll take the stencils, and I think this is the second stencil, but I don't really think it matters. So for this, I'm using some Altenew inks. I've been using these a lot lately. I've got rose quartz and Puffy heart. I just really like these inks. There's a lot of great inks out there. These just happen to be the ones I'm grabbing today. All right, so I'm inking up with a large blending brush here. You can use whatever you want, whatever floats your boat, and then peel that off. And you can see that the grip mat really holds the stencil in place, so you don't have to worry about holding it with your fingers. So you can see I don't have to hold the stencil at all because of that grip mat. So now I'm gonna pull this stencil off, and look at that. I just, you know, there are some things in life that just make you happy. And this is one of them. Look at that. Isn't that cute? So I've used these before because I just love them. And look at how you just pop these up. And you have these little wings that kind of flutter. I just love that. Now I'm going to be pretty generous with my glue here because this is going to be the back of a shaker window. And I don't want anything getting behind those little butterfly openings. So there's your answer. So see how I put adhesive all around the butterflies, but not on the butterfly wings because I don't want those to get glued down. And I'm just putting this onto a piece of white cardstock of the same size. And also when we add shaker bits around this, the shaker bits will go behind the wings too, which is really fun. So next I am going to use something that I think is so much fun. I love shaker cards. And these are really easy to use. These are on sale. Everything I'm using is part of that sales category. You can find the sale category in the description below. Use my code and it's you get an additional 5% off that 20%. Okay, so I'm going to use this, and this covers an entire A2 card. So this covers a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch piece. So there's a few of them in the pack. There's 5 of them in the pack. And first thing you do is remove, here I am with the knife again. I'm going to remove the protective film. It tells you to. That's how I remembered. Otherwise, I probably would not have remembered. All right, and now you, look at, it's got the adhesive on these flaps. So it'll make it really easy to turn this into a shaker background. So all I'm going to do is fold them in across their score lines, and they easily fold in. Okay, so what I'm going to do is remove the release paper from 3 sides. I know I'm not hitting all the questions. I'm going to try, okay? So I've removed the release paper from 3 sides, and I'm going to place my background into it. I don't think there's an up or down. Ish, yes there is, okay. So I'm going to lay that, and look, it fits in perfectly. And then you wrap the sides around it. So you could do any background. Now I did a pretty elaborate stencil die cut pop-up craziness, but you could do anything. It could just be a piece of plain cardstock if you wanted to. Now you've got this entire thing is a shaker window. I generally like to use flatter things in shaker cards like this. I'm going to put a lot in there. Why not? Maybe a little less. I don't know. The name of the game is how many shaker bits do you put in? I think I'm just going to do that. So you saw how easy that was to add. Now I'm going to remove this and seal it off. Remember, you could put a gift card in there. You could put little die cuts in there, anything you want. And what I like about this is See how some of them go behind the little wings? And this kind of domes a little bit on the front, but it does flat, right? Because there's no foam tape on this. So it does flatten to go in an envelope, but you know, you also have those little wings. So, see how they kind of pop back up? Isn't that fun? So, super easy. Was the dotted flowers. I just think these are really cute. You can stitch these if you want to. I did not stitch them, but you definitely could stitch them. There's 3 sizes of flowers, which I always like that there's 3 sizes, and 3 sizes of leaves. So, yeah. Okay, so all I was doing there was putting white in between, so white would show through those little holes. You could leave them see-through, but you know, it's some of those things, those little details that really make a difference. And I did the same thing with the leaves. I put a piece of white cardstock between. Okay, so these are the dotted flowers. I think they're so cute. And look, you could layer them. Look at this. Oh my heavens, look how cute that is. But I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet. Okay, so there you go. There's our first card. And I thought I'd also show you, I made this one off screen. So I did the same technique. This one's on a card front. And you can see how it kind of domes a little bit, but it flattens to go in an envelope. And you can see how much it shakes around in there. Now on this one, I did the same products, but with blue or cool color inks. And the dies that I used for this are the Print and Script Thank You, which I really like this. This is brilliant. And I hope that Nina does more of these. I know she's got a With Love of it too. But look, you can use the Thank You in the block font, Thank You in the script font, or you can mix it like I did. And I just think that's fun. And that the shadow is included. So those are on sale also. These products I used for my card I'm about to show you. This is one of the kind of puffy shaker covers for a star. And you can use these dies for a frame around it. And then here's the sunburst background die. I use those to create this card that you see here. So it's a star shaker. And I used the sunburst background die. And what I did is I cut it from a few different colors of cardstock, and I cut chunks out and pieced them together so we got the multicolored background. So I'm not going to recreate this card, but I am going to do this spinning shaker window on my next card, but not the star. Okay, so let's start out. I'm going to make a pink shaker window frame with these leaves around it. Let me show you the products that I used. So I have here, these are the Puffy Heart Shaker covers. So we can make a shaker card or shaker window very easily. Keep in mind, you can use these in a very easy way. Just die cut the window, put the cardstock on top of it, and you're good. I am doing an over-the-top, elaborate spinning shaker madness. So you can use these in a simple way. I encourage you to look at Waffle Flower. Lots of great examples there. So I'm using the shaker heart covers. And then this is the shaker heart die. This inside frame here fits right around up against the domed portion of the heart. And this outside one goes to the outside of the heart. So you can cut a frame to go around this to make it look finished. Then there's also this Save the Date heart die. Now, I got married 400 years ago, so I don't need that. But I'm going to use this frame, which goes right around it too. So I'm going to use these together. You will also see me later add little heart die cuts inside of my shaker window. I used this die here. See those little hearts? I just cut it repeatedly from some scraps of pink cardstock to make lots of tiny little hearts kind of floating around in our shaker window. First of all, I'm going to be putting a lot of die cutting around my little shaker window. Remember, you can keep it simple, but I'm going to foof it up a bit. And since I'm doing a lot of die cutting, I thought I would use double-sided adhesive sheets. There are a lot of great double-sided adhesives out there. What I discovered about these, which are on sale, is they're cut to 5.5 by 8.5, which is fantastic because you can just cut it right in half and it's the size of a card panel. Okay, so I'm going to use that for some of my die cutting so that I don't have to wait for glue to dry or deal with adhesive here. So you can put the adhesive on the back of your cardstock before you die cut. So I have some pink cardstock here, and I'm going to put some adhesive on the back of it. So here we have just pink cardstock with double-sided adhesive sheet on the back. So when I die cut it, it like turns it into a sticker. So these also are on sale if you're looking for adhesive sheets. Best I can. And run that through my die cut machine. So this will create a frame around our little shaker cover. So it covers up that little ledge that sticks around the side. Okay, so now this, I'm gonna put right, actually, you know what? I'm not gonna do that yet. I'm gonna put it right there. This is the release paper, so I'm just sticking it down there. I shouldn't have taken the back off. I have now, I wanna add to that, this leaf thing. Again, here I am, overdoing it. So this is the Save the Date heart, and I've already cut it from green cardstock, and I had the adhesive on the back. So look how easy it is for me to remove that and stick it down. Okay, so here I had adhesive on the back of that cardstock when I die cut this, and I'm just sticking it onto there. So my frame is done now, and I will stick it onto, see how there's that ledge around the shaker cover? I'm gonna just press it down. So I'm pressing this down. Now, remember, I put adhesive on the back of the green cardstock. So all of this sticking out here is sticky, and I don't want it to be because I'm turning this into a spinning feature. So if you've got something that's sticky that you don't want to be sticky, just use your anti-static powder tool. Just dab it until it doesn't want to stick to your powder tool anymore, and that will just remove the stickiness. Okay, so now those aren't sticky. Okay, now it's time to fill this bad boy with some goodies. Remember how I said I used this die here to cut a bunch of little hearts? Got them here. Tiny crystals, these are from Honeybee, and they just have a lot of sparkle in them, and they're small, so great for shaker. And then these are pearl glass dots from Cat Scrappiness. You can really put, ooh, I really put a lot. I put a lot of those in. Now next here, I just have a heart. I cut it from craft cardstock just because that's what I had sitting there. Nobody's gonna see it. And it has adhesive on it already. So I used that adhesive paper from Waffle Flower before I die cut it. So this is sticky here. And then I have a white. So basically what I have here is a heart, white in the center. All of that is exposed adhesive around the edge. You can see this is the back of my shaker. That's all exposed adhesive around the edge. So I'm gonna put this on the back and it'll seal with this edge, this little ledge on the outside. Okay, so now when I flip it over, look at that little shaker window. He's gonna be cute. She will be cuter when you add little flowers to it. So look at that. So you can see how easy that was to put together. I put extra bits in it, extra pizzazz, oomph, whatever. You don't have to do those things. All right, I wanna make this spin. Now there are many ways to make a card spin. If you go to my YouTube channel and search on spin, there are many different ways. Today's is a little bit different because I wanted to make sure this big element was supported well enough to spin. So this is a little different than what I've done in the past. Just know there are multiple ways to do this. So these are Waffle Flower circle dies. Oh, shoot. Really, the size doesn't matter when you are creating these. You want to make sure your biggest circle is smaller than your shaker or your spinning element. So that's how I chose that. Then I'm going to use foam circle to do this. If you don't have a foam circle, you can take a button of whatever size you got and glue that down, and you can spin around the button, okay? Which I've shown in videos before. In this case, my element's gonna spin around one of these circle foams, okay? You actually could use a square foam if you wanted to. It won't spin as well, or you can take a piece of foam tape and just use your scissors and cut it into as good of a circle as you can do. Okay, so the big circle circle die needs to be smaller than your shaker window. The smallest circle needs to go around your little foam circle or around your button. And then you need a circle die that's slightly bigger than the smallest. So I use these dies. First of all, I use the biggest circle die just to cut a circle. It doesn't matter what color, no one's gonna see it. I did pink so you could see it. So I have one circle die cut. Then I used the biggest circle and the smallest circle to create a donut. And then I used the medium-sized circle just to create an individual one. So these are the 3 pieces you need to make this spin and your foam circle. Foam tape. We need some foam tape for this. You could use any foam tape. You have to forgive me. I had this in my stash and I didn't realize I had it and how fantastic it is. I didn't realize what it was until Nina told me it was on sale, so I thought I'd look at it. So there's 1/8 of an inch thick and there's 1/16 of an inch thick. So depending on how much dimension you want, so you can see a comparison there. And she has them in black and white, so you can do black or white. But what's cool about these, and what I didn't realize, I thought it was just all strips, is look at all of the different sizes that are included. So there's thin ones, there's wider ones, there's short, there's long, there's even a frame one in here with more shorter ones. So there's the narrow and the wider. I just think that's fantastic because usually you have to buy those separately. And then there's the 2 thicknesses. So that's what I'm going to use today. And this is what's in my cart to buy more of because I didn't realize how great they were because of the variety in one. So I'm going to take one of the thicker ones, and I like to remove the release paper right away because it makes it easier to apply it. Now on the top of the donut, I'm going to curve this foam tape around it. If you take the release paper off first, it's easier to curve. Look how it's curving very easily. If you do not have foam strips, you can just do a few little foam dots around the circle. It doesn't have to be completely covered because this isn't actually the spinning element. This is just kind of a platform for it. So there you can see I have a donut and I put frosting on it, foam adhesive. Now in this circle here, I am going to put right at the center a foam circle. Again, if you don't have a foam circle, you can cut your own from foam tape, cut your own circle, or you can get a button. If you're like me and you hoard buttons, you can glue a button there and let it dry. But you just need something small, usually round is best, that pops up. And notice how my donut fits right around it. And the donut spins freely because it's not too tight. The circle die that I chose is bigger than this. So see how it spins around there? Does that make sense? You have your circle with the foam circle in the center. Your donut that you're going to put right around it. So it's just spinning there. And then you're going to take this medium circle die cut, remove the release paper from that foam circle and press this on it. The purpose of this is so that your donut is stuck in between there. Your donut doesn't come off. Okay? So see how that spins there? The donut spins now. I've got my little shaker window here, and this is what I want to spin. So this could be a critter. This could be whatever you want. It doesn't have to be as elaborate as I'm doing here. Yes, Catherine, if you want to save time and you don't want to do a spinner, you could put a little action wobbler under here and your little heart would wobble. That'd be fun too. Okay, so I got this ready here, my little spinning element. I'm going to stick that onto, so that foam tape on the donut is exposed. I'm going to press that right down onto the back of our heart. So it's now attached to the spinning element. It can't spin until I adhere this to a card, but it's all set up on the back. So I have my spinning element on the back of my heart. Very excited that I finally got to use it. It's the wood grain die, and it's on sale too. All of the things I chose today are on sale. I wanted to make sure of that. Now for this, I cut from craft paper the centerpiece, and I love that wood grain look. And then from slightly darker craft cardstock, I cut the frame around that goes around it. All right, I'm going to glue that just onto craft cardstock there and put something heavy on it while it dries. I used the Fluttering By Sentiments. I've used this one. Oh, sorry. I've used this one in past videos many times. There are some sentiments that work really well with butterfly cards, which I make a lot of, like Fluttering By to say hello. But then there's a lot in here that would work for any occasion, like Sending Hugs and You Are Loved. I did Sending Hugs, and I stamped it onto white cardstock that had the adhesive on the back. So now it's ready to just stick right onto the front of my shaker window. So I'll just press that down. Okay, so now we can add this to our card. So this little circle here is the platform that I'm going to glue onto my card. So I'm going to put adhesive on that circle. So I'm not going to spin it yet. I want that to have a little bit of time to dry. So now, while that dries, I've already created some little flowers to add to it. Now this is the Waffle flower treat bag. I wish I had a photo to share with you. It creates a cutest little dimensional treat bag. If you go to their website, it's linked below, this product is, there's lots of great examples. But what I really liked in here too are these little flowers and leaves. So I used these. This is on sale, so I used the flowers from this. So I am adding this to a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch top folding note card. I will say, because of all that I put on my shaker window, you want to make sure you put this on a strong card base so that it's doesn't like flop when you stand it up. And watch, it just spins. Isn't that fun? Do you really need your heart to spin? No, but, oh, this wasn't dry. I shouldn't have done that. Do you need your heart to spin? No, but I thought it'd be fun. So you can do the star or that sun. Remember the sun one I showed you earlier? You can make your sun spin. That'd be fun too. Lots of different things you can do. And so here we have the finished card. And I actually made another one to practice. And so on this one, I used the message "You Are Loved" from the same stamp set. I just thought it'd be a fun way to make the card unique. Okay, there you have it, an edited, shortened version of one of my recent lives. Let me know what you think of this. I will have everything that I used in the description below, including the ways to save. I thank you for spending this time with me. At the end here, I'll link to a couple other related videos. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you soon.